I used to space out in class all the time, even back in elementary school. It's funny, I remember I couldn't wait for the teacher to stop talking and leave us to our assignments so I could finally zone out and think about all sorts of things. I had zero interest in whatever they were saying or teaching because none of it seemed important whatsoever. I didn't see the point. Like, I'm sitting here answering ambiguous, arbitrary questions in a workbook about a period in time in history that does nothing for me, or some math beyond algebra that I'm 9 times out of 10 never gonna use. Like, yo, when they started adding letters into math, that's when I checked out. Ironically, the boredom and pointlessness of the education system is honestly how I became a somewhat introspective thinker. And being a deep thinker, which I'm sure most of you guys listening to this are, has its virtues and vices, as I'm sure you know. Like, blissful ignorance is a thing, and sometimes it favors to be a mindless sheep rather than being in your own head 24/7. A kid in elementary or middle school probably shouldn't be having an existential crisis every other day. In theory, you should be, I don't know, chasing butterflies or playing sports, having fun, crushing on people, I don't know. Whatever kids do nowadays, right? And I think most people who haven't been completely programmed and have some level of autonomy and consciousness, they kind of go through this phase of thinking about life and having an existential crisis at some point. And it's kind of funny because the meaning of life was one of the quote-unquote deepest philosophical questions pondered by guys like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Rousseau, Descartes, etc. Actually, maybe not deep, but it's like the most open-ended, I guess. And now pretty much every other person with depression or anxiety does the same. And the meaning of life usually has two ends of the spectrum. Some say that life has no meaning and we're all just monkeys on a floating rock waiting to die while chasing dopamine. And a lot of people on this end are more focused on external things and superficial pursuits. And then on the other end, you have people on the extreme religious side who believe in following a divine path in scripture. And the people on this end are more focused on intrinsic things like self-improvement, mindfulness, etc. And a lot of things in society program people to subconsciously take the nihilistic approach of nothing really matters. And most people who believe this just haven't found something that they really believe is worth living for. And yeah, life is rough sometimes. We got times where we think, what's the point of all this? It can be a lot and easy to fall into that mentality, but whatever you think, with all the good and bad in life, right? Whatever you believe in, don't believe in, God, Allah, your horoscope, universe, Aquarius, rising nonsense. To be honest, I don't even think a lot of people actually believe in horoscopes, but it's just to get into a trend. But the point is, whatever you believe in, there is an undeniable magic in life that we all feel. And this magic that makes everything feel worth it, so to speak. With everything you go through, right, there are these moments in life that makes everything make sense, I guess. That gives clarity and purpose to all the bad moments. It kind of makes you understand suffering. It's kind of cliche, but it's true. And that feeling is always rooted within love and connection, and we all feel it. And that feeling is kind of like a hint for all of us and why we're here. Like, think about it for a second. Those moments in life that stop time, where it feels like things couldn't be better and the energy was palpable. It was always with other people, more likely a small group of people or maybe just one special person. Gotta hold those moments close and remember them because they're important when you have these existential angst. It's about creating those moments and connections and making the world go around. Remember that magic you feel when you create a positive connection with someone else. It's like if you've ever been in love or loved, right? Which I'm sure most of you guys have, you get it. On a micro level, you feel it when you're around friends, families, loved ones, your significant other, etc. And on a macro level, your life as a whole, you feel when you better yourself and do things beyond yourself. Because when you're doing something bigger than yourself, unless you're a sociopath, giving always feels better than receiving. And I'm sure a lot of people would agree to that. Superficial pursuits will end up with you losing your soul. Whatever you believe, don't subscribe to the idea that all you're here to do is to go to school, get a job, 9 to 5, work till retirement, partying on weekends to escape the pain of weekdays. You know, maybe having a family, maybe not, who knows, society's in a weird place with that. And then just piss off when you're in retirement hoping you saved enough to do nothing for the rest of your life. Or hopefully you're rich enough to buy a bunch of bullshit to fill your empty soul. Generally speaking, this is what a lot of people subscribe to. And I guess even though this is kind of an opinion, I really believe that this is the definition of life being meaningless. And if you just want a straight answer, the meaning of life is to give life meaning, or to create life with meaning. Generally speaking, if you're not religious. And the number one way to dying with regret is living a meaningless life in that regard. Every old person at the end of the world, 9 times out of 10, would tell a young person the exact same thing. It's kind of hard to understand, especially if you don't believe in something greater, but everything does have a purpose. I mean, the way life is set up is way too much of a coincidence. You'd have a better chance at winning the lottery, honestly. Bro, you'd be surprised how many people manifest shit into their lives simply because they feel it has no meaning. Like you are existing just so you can feel something. I mean, whether that's alcohol, drug, gambling, sex addictions, some people who have no meaning just want to feel something from life. It's also why people who are unsatisfied with their careers are exponentially more likely to become addicted to drugs and alcohol and other vices. It's because you're looking for something to make you feel, and that's why it's important to have meaning. To be honest, believe it or not, waking up without a purpose is one of the scariest things subconsciously. Because we all wake up with a set of things that we have to do. No matter how small or large that XYZ is, we just need something, right? You need a why every day. You need a why to get out of bed when you feel terrible. If you subscribe to the idea that life is meaningless, you're not going to push through those moments that you should, and taking that route inevitably leads to self-destruction. And yeah, the older you get, the more you just kind of have to focus on what's in front of you. Trying to make sense of the world and life too much is going to leave you even more lost and confused than you already are. But have that foundation or basis for the meaning of your life, because it'll always give you direction when you start to get lost. It's kind of corny, a little cliche, but it's true. It can save lives. Because so many people quit because they're so lost and they don't have meaning in their life. They realize that partying and doing drugs and drinking and hooking up is only to escape the void and meaninglessness that they feel on a day-to-day basis. The reality is, we get caught up in insignificant things because we're either searching or escaping. And here's the silver lining, right? It's hard to generalize since people are different, but I think it comes down to finding something that you truly love, that gets you excited, that you want to wake up for. That's what passion feels like. Find that for yourself and find a way where you can use that passion to help and better the lives of others. And along the way, try to build meaningful connections, real ones, not fake ones, because there's a whole lot of those. You know, maybe find love, someone you can share with, have kids, pass on everything meaningful in your life to them so they can do the same. And again, generally speaking, I would say you find meaning through these things. But the common denominator in all of this, to bring it back full circle, is to do things beyond yourself. I mean, there's a reason we don't exist by ourselves. And I think the more you learn and grow, the more clear it starts to become to you. And yeah, just try not to dwell on your existential crisis too much. Just go back to your foundation and focus on what's in front of you. But at the same time, have that balance and don't get caught up in selfish pursuits either and instant gratification. And at the end of the day, all any of us can really do is kind of try our best every day, be the best we can be. And that's pretty much it. Try not to worry so much, get out of your head a little bit, and you'll be fine. Anyways, if you guys liked the video, leave a like, comment, or sub. And with that said, make sure you guys stay true. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Peace.